Alright, so we've got a Verde product, and it's big. And some of y'all might not be as big as I am. I know I'm a bigger guy, so this is going to look easier for me. But I'm going to show you how to make it easy for everybody. So before we even get started, like we talked about earlier, you want to make sure you're stretching and that you're limber and that you're not doing this, right first thing in the morning before you've actually done anything and warmed up. The other thing you want to make sure is you've got your gloves, because with trees, there's a lot of little splinters and everything else, and you don't want to get those in your hands. The other thing that you may want to do is, if you've got sunglasses, you may want to wear them while you're doing these. We don't provide eye protection, but it doesn't hurt. Mainly because as you get close to product, you've got branches everywhere. So as you shift things, you may not even be messing with this tree, you may be messing with this one, and they'll come together, and you may get a branch in the eye. So if you've got sunglasses on, that's going to help prevent that from happening. If not, you've just got to be very mindful of where these spare branches are. All right, so now you've got your product here. Of course, it comes in on pallets most of the time, so the easiest way to do that is to roll your pallet right over next to where you're going to be unloading. So most of the time you can just slide it right on top of the grid or the pallets that you're staging everything on. If for some reason you've got it unloaded next to it, or maybe in this instance people have been shopping and so they're moving stuff around, this is where your safe lifting practices come in handy. Again, make sure you're close to the product. Squat down, lift with your legs, don't lift with your back. Don't just reach down and grab it and try and muscle it up. Get down low enough so that you can actually grab it. Another thing that you may be able to do is go down and pick it up from the bottom instead of right here. Sometimes these will break on you as you're grabbing them, and then you lose your grip and it falls on you. So just kind of be mindful of where you're gripping everything. Pick up and put down. Again, trees are always going to get caught on other trees, so you got to be careful of that as you're putting things up. If you feel a lot of resistance, just put it back down. Don't try to fight it in there, because that's how you're going to end up getting unbalanced, hurting yourself, or having stuff start dropping on you. So once you get it up, then you can kind of play with it, get it into position, make sure your tags are good, and that's how you can move some of the smaller product. So now you go on to some of the bigger trees. This isn't actually one of the biggest ones we have, but it's going to be the same principle when you're trying to move it around. I'm not going to try and pick this one up like I did the other one. The other one may even be too big for some people. So with this one, we're going to move it a little bit differently. You can use either a group lift if you really want to, but if you're by yourself or you just want to save yourself from, trying to pick it up at all, you're going to do what we just tilt and walk it over. So for that, I'm just going to bring it down, make sure that you keep control of it. Again, all the weight is going to be right down here with the soil. You may get a little top heavy with some trees, but as you can see, I can hold this with one hand and kind of keep control of it. Crepe myrtles are a little more difficult because they've got all the different branches. With some of the other trees, they've just got the one trunk, makes it easier to control. So with this, we've got it tilted, and you can just kind of keep rolling it back and forth till you get to your destination. And you do want to get right up next to where you're going to be tilting it up to. This gives you that extra support as you pick up, so that all you've got to do is kind of push over. This is where you may need to get some extra help if this is too high. With the center blocks, this is a little higher than a pallet. With a pallet, they'll kind of lift up a little easier. For me, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. Again, the same thing you want to do here. Get low. Don't try to lift where I'm at right now. As you can see, I'm just bent over at the back. So you want to make sure you get low, pick up, and then roll it on. Then you can just roll it back and forth like I did. Don't try to just shove something straight back. Just spin it back and forth just like we were doing. That'll get you into whatever spot you need to. You can do the same thing if you're coming right back down. So pull it a little bit towards you. And roll it, let it tilt down, just hold control, and then you can roll it the rest of the way off. Then just let it sit back up like normal. And so that's how you get some of these bigger trees up and down without having too much of the weight that you've got to try and pick up. It's all going to be using the pot to help yourself out.